It's been 10 years since Leicester City shocked the world and won the Premier League. N'Golo Kante became an icon of the game. Mahrez was one of the most gifted players in football. And Jamie Vardy completed the greatest underdog story we've ever seen. But somehow, just 10 years later, Leicester are an absolute shambles. They've suffered back-to-back relegations going from the Premier League to the Championship. And now all of a sudden in League One. And they're already struggling to begin the season. What the hell happened? So today, I'm taking over Leicester City and saving them from this disaster. Taking them all the way back up to the Premier League, winning it again, and eventually winning their first ever UCL to make Leicester the world's best team. So this is the Leicester City side I am taking over. As of course, they've been relegated to EFL League One. It's crazy to think that this was their squad almost 10 years ago, a year after they won the league. And it's crazy to think that Jamie Vardy is now in Italy at 39. World Cup winner Kante is in Turkey. And probably Leicester's best ever player, Riyad Mahrez, is in Saudi Arabia. These were all the players that helped Leicester win the Premier League. And now we're stuck with the likes of Wes Burn, Oliver Skipp, and Liam Cullen up top. Taking Leicester back to the Premier League in the Champions League will almost be impossible. However, it's not the worst team in the world, as Leicester are currently a 3-star team. And every season, we're gonna have to solve problems in this Leicester side that will take it from a 3-star team to eventually a 5-star team that has won the Premier League again, the Champions League. And taking a look at this entire team and entire squad, I can already think of 3 problems that this Leicester City side have. And I actually think their first problem is their star player. Well, the highest rated player in this team is Wout Faes, but this is not who I'm referring to. I'm actually referring to the talented Tom Watson, who has bags of potential, but is only here on loan from Brighton. And I'm sorry, that cannot happen. So in order to fix this problem, I either have to go ahead and terminate the loan. That way we can build the team around someone else, or sign this guy on a... Well, his valuation is 5 million, and we do have 28 million pounds to spend. So I don't see why we can't convince him to a permanent deal. I actually want to throw in Steffi Mavadidi. Yes, he has a lot of experience, but Tom Watson is way younger. So I'm gonna go ahead and also offer 3 million. That meets his valuation, and they don't want Mavadidi, they only want 3.3 million. You know what? We'll accept that offer. So immediately we solve our first problem, as Leicester's star player is now a permanent one, and we can build this team around Tom Watson. This guy has 82 potential and scored a winner to send Sunderland to the Premier League a couple years ago. And as Tom Watson is now a permanent player, I also take a look at the side. And the second problem is, I think Leicester is missing their identity. Back to the time when they won the Premier League, their identity in midfield was N'Golo Kante, a tireless runner who loved to win the ball back. When it came to chance creation, they relied on a magician like Riyad Mahrez to create for their main man up top, and that was Jamie Vardy with his tireless pace. And I take a look at the side, Jamie Cullen is extremely slow, Wes Burns doesn't even have 4-star skill moves, and the likes of Oliver Skipp has 57 pace. We need to rebuild that identity that won Leicester the league. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is change the formation and go for a 4-2-2 holding, where there's going to be a huge emphasis on that right mid wide playmaker role like Mahrez, that striker advanced forward role with Jamie Vardy, and of course that holding midfield role that N'Golo Kante brought to this team. And with 24 million left, I think maybe I can find the starter versions of those 3 legends. And let's start by finding the next Riyad Mahrez. And I have a couple options here, the first one being Osman Bukhari. He has high pace, very good dribbling, but no 5-star skill moves. None of my options have more than 3 stars right now. The second option is Aliou Fader from Como. My third option is Zito Luvumbu. And finally, probably the best option is Ibrahim Osman. But the problem with my best option is he is very expensive, and will we have the money for the next Kante and the next Jamie Vardy? But you know what? I'm gonna try to work out a deal for Ibrahim Osman. Like I said, he is the best option, so I'm gonna try and put Steffi Mavadidi again, and let's go for 7 million. They didn't want him last time, they don't want him again. What if we try to sacrifice Liam Cullen? Even though he's a new signing, he just joined Leicester. 7 million plus Cullen, and they don't want him. So I'm gonna try to work out a low deal like 8 million, and they want 8.4. Come on, Ibrahim. Come on, Brighton. 8.3, they say yes. So now with the offer accepted, I'm actually going to wait to see what other deals I can strike. And when it comes to the next Kante, the best option is Napalm's Mendy. But Leicester already tried this, and he absolutely failed. So I have someone with no potential like Miguel Auca at 66 overall. He wouldn't even get to our starting 11, which leaves me with 2 more options, and the first one being Gerard Yepes. He is very short like Kante, but his stats are pretty well rounded, especially for League One. But I think the best option is a Mexican Obed Vargas. However, again, he is very expensive, but he is very well rounded and could become the next N'Golo Kante. But for Obed Vargas, I actually want to see if I can get a loan to buy, and they don't want one. But you know what? A 1-year loan will be just fine. So the second signing we bring in is Obed Vargas. Maybe if he has a good season, we could afford him and bring him to the Champions championship if we promote, and he could become the next N'Golo Kante. So with Vargas now in the starting 11, I'm still holding out on Ibrahim Osman because we must now find the next Jamie Vardy. And the best option is actually Brendan Thomas Asante, brand new Premier League player. At a 72 overall and 27, he still has room to grow. Or maybe a younger option like Louis Berry or Daniel Jebedson. They both have the pace, the next crazy Vardy. But I actually want to go for the lowest rated option, and that is Brian Maggio. Yes, at 6'4", he is nothing like Jamie Vardy. But because he's so young, we promote him and give him the insane pace and the insane long shots that Vardy had. So for only 4 million, Brian Maggio is now joining Leicester City. He has lots of potential, and I think maybe he can win the Premier League Golden Boot, just like Jamie Vardy. And speaking of Golden Boot, there's actually 4 challenges I want to complete in this video. The first 2 are obviously 1 to win the Premier League and 2 win the Champions League. But the third one is have a Premier League Golden Boot winner, just like Jamie Vardy did all those years ago. And finally, like I've been doing, is find the next Jamie Vardy, Riyad Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante. And in order to do that, those 3 players must reach a 90 overall. So finally, for 8.3 million, Ibrahim Osman transfer has been official, and hopefully he'll be our next Riyad Mahrez. And I say hopefully because players like Osman, Obed Vargas, and Maggio are not permanent players. This video is going to be realistic, so if we get offers that they would accept, they have to leave, and we have to find brand new replacements for that trio. But at least we now have a little bit of identity, so that problem is solved. And finally, for this season, I think their last problem is actually their youth academy. When you think of the best Premier League teams ever, you think of the likes of Chelsea, who produced the likes of Reece James, or Arsenal, who produced Saka. While Leicester City's best academy graduate is Kenan Dewsbury Hall. Come on, he's not on that level. So throughout this video, I want to invest in the academy, and for now, we can only get a 3-star scout. And of course, we're sending them to England, and we're finding all types of players. A center back, a left, a CDM, a striker. Bring me anybody. Because I want to see some youth products here at Leicester City. And that will solve our last problem for the time being. But like I mentioned, every season we'll have brand new problems we need to solve. But that has now moved us up to a 3.5-star team. I told you, if we solve this problem, we'll eventually become a 5-star squad. But now with only 8 million to spend, we still have room for at least 1 more transfer. And I actually want a good goalkeeper that can grow. And boys, there's only one option, and that is James Beadle. At 6'7", he is basically worth all of our money and has around 80 potential. So for 5.8 million, it would be dumb of me to not snatch him up before someone picks him up on loan. And he is now a permanent resident here at Leicester. So James Beadle is the missing piece of the puzzle here. But as you know, we have like 37 players in this entire squad, and I'm not gonna sell anybody. Right now, I'm gonna have a look around and find everyone's best position. And I made Ricardo Pereira to a CDM. He went up to a 72. And mainly Liam Cullen is now officially a striker, and Connor Chaplin as well, even though he went down a -1. But surely with this brand new team, we could promote back to the championship. And what a season for Connor Chaplin. 40 goals and 8 assists. 16 goals for Brian Maggio, 11 for Wes Burns, 9 and 2 for Stevie Mavadidi, 8 and 10 from Obed Vargas. Well, when it comes to playmaking, Osman wasn't too good. But the growth looks incredible. Maggio is now at a 69. Osman up to a 76. Watson up to a 74. Obed has gone up a +5 to a 77. And goalkeeper James Beadle is now at a 75. But then we go ahead and promote to the championship. And yes, we have done it with ease. 119 points, only 3 games lost, as Connor Chaplin takes that golden boot home, man. And I was able to find one talent, and that is Alfie Robson, 14 years old, 49 overall with 85 potential. It's gonna be a while till he joins the first team. But don't worry, I'm sure next season we could get some better scouts as well. But now as we're approaching the championship, surely there's gonna be new problems headed our way. And to kick off season number 2, we do have 22 million to spend, which brings us to our first problem. We don't have enough money to bring in players that can instantly promote us to the Premier League in our first stride. Just look at this, man. We invested so much time in Obed Vargas, 77 overall, but he is way more than our price range. So if I ever want to go ahead and sign him, I have to sell a bunch of players. But we'd spend all of our money and we would have nothing left to improve this side. But as I've sold 2 players so far, we have yet to solve the first problem, but we already have another one. And that is not being a big enough club to hold on to our talent. One of the first players being poached is Ademir Brstić, who joined Leicester last season and is already being poached by Hull City, who just came down from the Premier League back to the championship. But they're probably going straight back up, so we have to accept this offer. And we'll also be losing Woodface to Al Nassr. That's our captain, man. So that concludes our sales for the summer, which has given us 35 million, which is still not a lot, but we kind of solved the financial issue. And the keeping big players isn't really solved, but now it's put away. And now as we take a look at this team, there's obviously one problem in the way, and we're lacking leadership. Yes, we have Ricardo Pereira, but other than that, a lot of these players are brand new to this team, don't know how to lead Leicester City. And to solve that problem, I want to bring in Wilfred Ndidi, who is now a center back. He used to captain Leicester and is very, very affordable. So for 3.2 million, Ndidi Didi, who made 300 appearances for Leicester, has now returned. And that solves our leadership problem. So now he returns and is instantly our best defender. But there's still a couple more signings to make here in this side. And of course, we need that Conte replacement again. And I found some decent options in Morten Frendrup, Nicolas Raskin, and Rocco Rates. But they're all playing for massive clubs. And we can't convince those players to at least we're in the Prem. But a player like Valentin Antangana spent a couple years in Saudi, has made his money, and is probably looking for an ambitious project. However, worth 17 million, he might be a little bit too expensive. But screw it, we have to take some risks on for 17 million. Valentin is a hopefully newer version of N'Golo Kante, but he can just leave next season. It'll take us years. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, subscribe and let me know down below what other club I should fix in the lower divisions to get N'Golo Kante to a 90 overall, and of course Vardy and Mahrez as well. And he is a huge upgrade in that CDM department. I'm glad he was in Saudi. If not, we wouldn't have signed them. And finally, taking a look at these last positions, Connor Chaplin is actually getting a bit older, so I want somebody in case it starts to fall apart. And I found somebody I've never heard of. Umar Abubakar has 76 to 82 potential at just 21 and is also extremely cheap. So why not? Let's give him a go at Leicester City in the Championship. So for 5 million, we make our final signing, the Nigerian striker. Hopefully can make a good partnership next to Macho. And we're gonna go ahead and keep him on the bench for now, but this squad has drastically improved. Obviously, Macho and Osman have remained in the side and could become the next Vardy and Mahrez. But with all of our problems solved, we are still a 3.5-star team, but I feel that will change very soon. But as you can see, I was able to get a 4-star judgment scout on the right side here. And of course, we're gonna go ahead and look for some more players. We found a striker. Let's go ahead and find a winger. Let's find more CDMs, more center backs, more left backs. We didn't find much. And the squad is looking great. Macho has gone up to a 75. Connor Chaplin 74. Osman 81. Yo, if we didn't promote to the Prem, we might lose him. 80 for Tangana. Tom Watson 77. And Didi even went up to 78. James Beadle 79. Sutar 75. Yo, this team is looking great. And this time, Macho's the top goal scorer. 28 goals for him. 14 and 6 for Chaplin. 9 and 10 for Didi. What? There we go, Osman. 9 and 13. 7 and 4 for Watson. But Abubakar must have gotten an injury. He only played 6 games. And then he went ahead and went down on -1. Oh, this is definitely a flop signing as of right now. And yes, we get our Golden Boot winner in the Championship. Wamava Didi, the player we sold, was in second. Still no top playmaker yet. And boys, we just missed out on automatic promotion. We actually finished in the playoffs. But in the semis, we lost to Coventry 5-4. We're still far away from winning the Prem again and the Champions League. And I found 2 more youth talents in Richard Gallagher, a center back, a 61 overall, 90 potential. And he's actually 16, so we're gonna sign him up. And second is Carl Davies, a CDM, 95 potential. He's incredible. While Robson went up a +6. Not too shabby. But in season number 3, as you can see, Victor has handed in a transfer request. James Beadle as well. And Ibrahim Osman, the supposed next to Riyad Mahrez. And that is because that was our first problem. We failed to become a Premier League side. So some players who are at Premier League level now want to leave. So Victor Christensen will be going to Porto. James Beadle will be going to Monaco. And Ibrahim Osman will be going to Aston Villa. So there we go. They've all been sold. I also sold Liam Cullen. He's getting a bit old. And with that problem not solved but going away, we have 117 million to spend. So at least we'll get to improve this team. But that comes to our second problem. We don't have the quality of players to take us out of the Championship. When it comes to that right mid position, I wanted to give Lewis Page a chance. As you can see, he's an exciting prospect. So maybe we don't sign anybody for that position. But boys, we need a brand new left back, a brand new center back, a new goalkeeper. Also, probably a brand new striker because Abubakar has failed us so far. And let me tell you, I found some great options. At left back, I'm going to go ahead and sign Hennes Behrens, the German left back. At center back, I think Clement Akpa at 26 is a great addition to this team. In goal, I want to go for Patrick Beach, who played at the World Cup. And finally, one of the big signings, Karim Konate from Red Bull Salzburg. So for 10 million, the Australian goalkeeper joins Leicester. For 8 million, Hennes Behrens, the German left back, is now a Fox. For 12 million, 76 rated center back will play next to Ndidi. And finally, our biggest transfer yet, 24 million for Karim Konate. I'm surprised he's still at Salzburg. So there we go. Look at the improvements of this team. We definitely have solved the quality problem. Our last problem is having bad rotation depth. First of all, we only have 2 CDMs and Ricardo Pereira, who's basically trash. Our right back Koulibaly, backed up by a 64 rated fullback. Tommy Watson's best backup is 68 rated Thomas. We need to sign some backup players. And we do have 55 million left to spend. And I had the idea to bring back Obed Vargas, but he even went up again in price. He's way too good for us now. So first for starting CDM, I actually want to bring in Hwang In Byom. Yes, he's 31, but look how cheap he is. And he'll be starting in and helping us get to the Prem. I actually changed my mind to start next to our French CDM. For 25 million, we bring in Chelsea club Cesar Casadei, who was at Mallorca. But for 2.6 million, I still brought in Biom to serve at least as a backup. But I did not stop there. As for 5 million, I brought in 69 overall backup right back Capaccio, who's from Wales. For 6 million, I bring in another 69 rated fullback, Andre Garcia, to be the backup. And finally, for 7.5 million, Luis Kumas from Liverpool to back up Tommy Watson. So there we go. Our bench is looking so much better. And of course, Casadei's in the starting 11. But remember, I mentioned I want to train Lewis Page. He might not have the skills dribbling or passing of Riyad Mahrez, but at just 20 years old, he can definitely be converted. So we're going to give him the winger role to increase his dribbling, but most importantly, his skill moves first. But let's go ahead and promote to the Premier League now. And yes, Leicester have done it. They're going to the Prem, beating out in West Ham by goal difference, I think. No golden boot winner this time, as Casada and Chaplin did pretty good. But next year in the Prem, we can maybe achieve the Prem golden boot winner soon. And some of the growth looks great. Maggio only went up a +2 to a 77. Konate 80 rated. Lewis Page all the way to a 79. Tommy Watson 79. 83 for Casadei. 84 for Antangana. Barons didn't really go up. And Didi's an 81 again. And Patrick Beach at an 80. While the backups like a Bubakar do not look too bad. Some of them grew a lot. It's 20 and 12 for Casadei. 19 and 5 for Chaplin. 15 goals. Not bad for Maggio. 13 and 2 for Karim Konate. 9 and 9 for Ndidi. 9 and 7 for Watson. I'm very excited to go to the Prem. And it's a +5 for Richard Gallagher out on loan. Oh, he'll be in the first team very soon. And other academy graduates, it's a +6 for Carl Davies, who is now being promoted. And another +6 for Alfie Robson. He's also getting promoted. But going to our first year in the Prem, we obviously have a long way to win the Prem League, the Champions League, making the next trio. But I smell the Golden Boot one coming very soon. And in our first year of the Prem League, I have compiled a huge transfer list of players who I think won't make it at this club anymore. And controversially, Connor Chaplin, 32, is gonna start going down. Thank you for everything, sir. But of course, we're still not a big enough club to decline an offer like this. And Tangana is leaving to Arsenal. So there we go. We've made ourselves and lost on Tangana. And we now have 191 million to spend. But that brings us to our first problem. And it's actually the fear of relegation. Players like Lewis Page, Tom Watson, and Brian Maggio do not want new contracts because they fear that Leicester might go back down. I don't understand why though, because we're now a 4-star team and getting closer to becoming a 5-star. But I guess we'll secure their contracts later, so we'll leave that problem for now. And I think what we're missing here is some Premier League proven players, whether that's in the midfield, in that left back spots, or even up top or anywhere around the pitch. But I found some Prem proven players. Up first for 23 million is an 82 rated Nathan Collins from Brentford. For 17 million, I'm bringing in Ethan Ampadu to play in the midfield next to Casadei. And finally, for 55 million, we bring in Haji Malik Diop from Brentford, an incredible Premier League fullback. And there we go. Our squad now has some Prem proven players, so we solved that second problem. But before we get to the third problem, we don't have a future Conte replacement. Casadei and Ampadu are nowhere near that play style. I mentioned it before, it's time to go in for Nicolas Raskin. Only 26 million, the cheapest. So for 28 million, Nicolas Raskin is currently going to be the future Conte replacement who we need to get to a 90. We keep losing our CDM, so don't be surprised if he's gone too. So Raskin joins the side. Ampadu's gonna be on the bench, unfortunately. But now the final problem is we're lacking a world-class superstar. And I know we just promoted, but in order to stay up, we need somebody of that level. But with only 41 million, can we afford anybody? And I decided to go for the left mid spot, and there's 3 options. The first one being Rafinha. He is not affordable and probably wouldn't even join Leicester. The next one is Luis Diaz. A world-class player is 84 and above. We could afford him, but at Bayern, do you think he'd join Leicester? Nah, I think the perfect player is Rafael Leao. He may be a Villarreal, but for 30 million, a season in the Prem will probably take him to a top 6 club, and that's what he would want. So for 32 million, we bring in our first world-class player in Rafael Leao. And as we solve that problem, that should be enough to stay in the division. So Leao improves the squad dramatically. Surely this team is good enough to stay in the Premier League. And the season ends and we survive relegation by like 7 points. That's not too bad, you know. But no Premier League Golden Boot winner. We will be watching and very attentive as Brian Maggio got 12. Not too bad. And the squad looks great. 80 rated from Maggio, 82 Konate, 82 Lewis Page, 84 Raskin, 85 Casadei, Leao 86. Surprisingly, our weak spot is Ndidi and our goalkeeper. I never saw that coming. But Brian Maggio is our top goal scorer with 13. 12 and 2 for Konate is not bad. 8 and 9 in Leao's first season is amazing as well. But the rest of the side really spread around the goals. I'm very happy with our performance this season. We survived relegation, which means the likes of Watson, Lewis Page, and Brian Maggio all have new contracts. But it's only a +4 for Alfie Robson, still getting on there. A +7 for Carl Davies, 72, let's go. And it's a +3 for Richard Gallagher. Davies might be in the squad by the time we're in the Champions League. And season number 5, we actually only have one problem this year, and it's that we're a stepping stone club. And that's because Rafael Leao and El Hadji Malik Diouf have requested to be transferred because they just used us to get to a bigger club. And to be honest, that's fair, as Diouf will be going to Chelsea and Leao will be going to Roma. Really? This club? And those sales have left us 168 million, which I'm very happy with. And of course, we have no problems anymore, at least for this season. And we're now a 4.5-star team. That's incredible. But of course, we're still a long way from winning the Prem, the Champions League, a Golden Boot winner, and the likes of Maggio, Raskin, and Page reaching a 90. But now with all that money, we need a brand new left back. Behrens and Garcia never did good enough. And boys, Miles Lewis Kelly is at Atalanta? Oh, but he's too expensive. I would have loved to bring him back and then send him back to Arsenal when they came in for him. I think we need to bring back Destiny Udogie back to England though. And come on, for 28 million, it is an absolute steal. Welcome back to England. We'll make you the world's best back here. And he is a huge improvement on that left-hand side. And Didi's been a great captain, but we need somebody to start over him. And I would love to bring back Wesley Fofana at an 83 overall and let him become a legend at Leicester. And for 22 million, it's extremely cheap to upgrade Ndidi this way. Welcome back Fofana. And we needed a goalkeeper, so for 23.5 million, we're able to get an 83 overall Sion Suzuki. They had another goalie starting for them. This is a great addition to this team. Patrick Beach has been great, but we need somebody better if we want to push for Europe soon. So our team looks pretty good now. However, a brand new left mid, an even better one would be great. And Lewis Page has been good, but maybe a world-class right mid that could also become the next Riyad Mahrez? Well, I want to bring back Jeremy Monga to play on the left side. I think he's a Leicester City Academy graduate, but with 55 million, he's expensive as we only have 72 million left. But we could get the next Riyad Mahrez and Yankuba Minte, and we should be able to afford them. So the question is, should I trust Lewis Page or should I trust Tommy Watson? And I decided on the more realistic option, and that is Yankuba Minte. Jeremy Monga's at Inter Milan. He doesn't want to step down, but Minte has seen what we've done with Leao and believes he can do the same. So maybe he could become the next Riyad Mahrez. But we need Europe if we want to hold on to this guy. So there we go. Yankuba Minte is now playing on that right-hand side, and I actually moved Lewis Page to the left because he's been more impressive than Watson. So now, can this team go ahead and qualify for Europe? And 22 goals for Konate this year. Brian Maggio, 17. 8 and 10 for Ethan Ampadu. 7 and 4 for Raskin. Yo, this squad is looking pretty good. And look at the growth of +5 for Brian Maggio. Konate, 85. Yankuba Minte, 88. Almost being the first one to get to a 90. Lewis Page, 84. Raskin, 86. 85 for Captain Fofana. I'm very happy with the growth of this squad. But no, we finished in 13th place. We did improve. But come on, man. Only a couple points would have put us in 7th or 6th. Yo, Brian Maggio was 4 goals away from winning the Golden Boot. We're so close to completing our challenges. And more importantly, very close to the Champions League and Premier League now. And to kick off Season 7, we actually have 0 problems. Which is good because as of right now, this entire team believes in the project. But if we don't get European football soon, don't be surprised if the likes of Minte, Maggio, Raskin all want to leave. And we do only have 56 million to spend. I guess that's the only problem we have. So the only signing I have made is for 40 million of Mark Guecki, who is now a backup at Man City. Yeah, he definitely wants to start in a brand new project. And it is a small improvement, but we cannot make any more signings. I think this team could finally get us into at least a top 7 spot. But look at this. Carl Davies is now at a 76. Richard Gallagher, 75. And Robson, 71. Expect them in the first team very soon. But once again, 26 goals for Konate, 22 Brian Maggio, 12 for Tommy Watson. He outscored Lewis Page, who had 9 and 11. Yankuba Minte, 8 and 23, 7 and 9 for Raskin. And Yankuba Minte reaches a 90 overall, which means he is the first player to hit a 90. While Raskin is right behind, only 2 away. But Maggio, come on, you didn't go up at all? Are you serious? But the rest of the squad, yo, this looks like a Champions League squad. And yes, we got a Golden Boot winner, Brian Maggio. We complete our first challenge. How did he not go up in overall though? And Yankuba Minte just misses out on the top playmaker award. Boys, we just missed out on the Prem title by 1 singular point. You can't be serious. We don't win the FA Cup or don't win the Carabao. We have yet to win a trophy here at Leicester. We are closer than ever to the Champions League and the Premier League, but I feel there's some big problems coming. And to kick off the new season, Nicolas Raskin, Cesare Casade, and Konate have all requested a transfer request because we have 3 problems, but they're all basically the same. That we haven't won a trophy, that we just missed out on the Premier League, and they don't believe in this project anymore because of not winning the Premier League and the trophies. So these are the 3 that want to leave. This is not good. So Nicolas Raskin will be going going to Milan. Kasade will be going to Roma. And Karim Konate is on his way to Arsenal. So this is what the squad looks like now. Davies is actually now at an 84. And actually, I think I'm going to start him. But we still need that Conte replacement. It's not Ethan Ampadu. We obviously have Robson at striker, but I think we need somebody better. And boys, why not get Moises Caicedo? Literally the perfect replacement for Conte in general. He's already an 90 overall. The moment he hits the side, that challenge gets completed. So for 66 million, Caicedo is now a Leicester player. Yes, we're in the Champions League. We're paying him 500k a week. Of course he's gonna say yes. There's literally no decrease in joining Leicester at this rate. We finished second place, man. So there we go. Caicedo is our brand new DM. Who can we sign at striker here? And I think I'm gonna go for Francesco Pio Esposito to take them off Tottenham. So for only 35 million, we're signing a great striker next to Josh Maja, who can help us maybe win the Prem and the Champions League this year. I wonder if that's gonna happen. And finally, for 95 million, I'm bringing back Jerry Monga. I wanted to do it 2 years ago, but he's now joining from Inter now that we have the UCL. So there we go. He arrives on the bench because Lewis Page has overtaken him as of now. But if I forgot to mention, Caicedo now makes it 2 out of 3 90 rated players. We're just waiting on Brian Maggio. But this team is good enough to win the Premier League. But what about the Champions League? And what a season for Esposito. 45 goals for him, 18 goals only for Maggio, 13 and 16 for Monga, 12 and 5 for Lewis Page, 10 and 24 for Yakuba Minte, man. And it's a 90 overall for Maggio. We get our last 90 overall. Now we're just missing the Premier League and the Champions League. Yakuba Minte 91, 91 Caicedo, 86 Davies, 87 Lewis Page. But Jeremy Monga has taken his place back, and the back line looks absolutely incredible. And boys, look at this. Gallagher's an 88. You know what? I'm sorry, Fofana. Gallagher is the new center back. And we get another Golden Boot winner, and it's Esposito, as Minte finally wins the Top Playmaker Award. And yes, boys, we have won the Premier League once again, like 14 years later or something like that. Actually, no, it's more like 17 years later. Oh, but we just failed to win the Community Shield. We failed to win the FA Cup, and we win the Carabao Cup. That's another trophy. Champions League, we finished in first place. Round of 16, we beat Real Madrid. Quarterfinals, we lost to Paris on penalties. Come on, man. Surely next season will be the season we win the Champions League, and we would have saved Leicester City. And in season number 8, we don't have any problem. I don't think we can improve without signing the overused players. So I'm gonna trust this team to hopefully win the Champions League this year. If not, I will have to sign some players. And we win back-to-back Premier League titles, third in Leicester's history with 99 points. We win our first Community Shield. Let's go. We win the FA Cup and another Carabao Cup. We won it all in England this year. But we want the Champions League. We finished in first undefeated. Round of 16, we spanked Chelsea. Quarterfinals, we spanked Bilbao. And semis, we beat Roma. We're in a final against Man City. This is one of the teams I did not want to face. And our top goal scorer is actually Pio Esposito. What a signing he's been. But for City, it's Mahamadou Sangare and Yassine Syed. 15 goals in outcomes. Haman only has 14. That's disappointing. 13 for Sangare, 10 for Marmouche, 9 for Anderson. Maybe it was just a team game for them. And it's 39 goals for Brian Maggio, 25 and 2 for Esposito, 19-15 for Monga, 14 and 10 for Lewis Page, 11 and 10 for Caicedo, and 10 and 9 for Carl Davis. And this is a squad we'll be using for the Champions League final. No suspensions, no injuries. Everybody is fit. But can we go ahead and win Leicester's first ever Champions League? And yes, we've done it. Minte, Monga, and Esposito. Leicester's the world's best team. And if you guys enjoyed this video, click on this video right here. I know you're gonna love it.